Hey everyone, welcome back to the Chrono Collective. It's your boy Jesse, back here with an update slash new video, whatever you want to call it. We are in the garage again, and just wanted to talk to you a little bit about the Ferrari situation. So we, as you know, the Ferrari's not here. If you watched the last video, you saw me comment just a little bit about it, how we went on the Ferrari Club of America cruise without it because it is being repaired. And it's being done by Blackhorse Motorworks in Kansas City. These guys are awesome. If you own a Ferrari or an exotic and you're in the KC area, you owe it to go talk to Vince. The guy is a master at his craft. And yeah, we kind of got some unexpected news about the Ferrari earlier this year. Did a bunch of research on buying Ferrari 360s before I bought one, and was really feeling pretty confident about the platform and the reliability of the platform. And yeah, located a car in Tampa. As you know, it's the 360 Spider. It's a factory gated manual car, and it's in Tour de France blue, which is one of my favorite Ferrari colors. And I decided to buy it, and obviously went through all the standard stuff you would expect to go through when you buy an exotic car. And the dealership, which I won't name any names because I don't think they're at fault either, they were very forthright about the information, shared a lot of documentation with me. So if you look here, this packet right here, this is all service paperwork on the car, going back about 15 years or so. So again, felt pretty confident. And one of the things that is really common to happen to Ferrari 360s is that they have a heat exchanger for the transmission. I'm sure it's primarily there for the F1 cars more than it is for the manual cars, but obviously keeping your gear oil in your transmission cool, no matter what kind of transmission you have, is always a good thing. And so the heat exchangers on these cars are known to corrode internally. They're considered a maintenance item. About every 5 years needing to be replaced. And they're relatively inexpensive for the part, about $600 or $700, but they are pretty labor intensive to actually do. And so what ends up happening a lot of times is owners don't do it, or shops don't know that they should do it. And time goes on, and eventually the coolant inside the system corrodes the internal components of the heat exchanger. They fail, and the gear oil and the coolant, the transmission gear oil and the coolant mix. When that happens, lots of bad things happen. First thing that happens is you basically steam clean the internals of the transmission. So if you're driving the car, obviously you have no lubrication any longer, and you have all kinds of potential transmission issues. The second thing that happens is you lose coolant to the engine, and most likely it's going to overheat. That appears to be what happened with this car about 2 years ago, about 2,200 miles ago. And I'm not sure why decisions were made, because obviously I wasn't part of that. It was previous ownership. But the service paperwork does indicate the heat exchanger was exchanged due to a failure. And the shop that did the work decided to fully flush the system, which is appropriate, and put it all back together. And I don't think they did any additional testing, and I'm not sure that they knew, but ultimately the 360 at the time blew its head gasket, at least one of them. According to Vince, one of the heads came off with a little bit of persuasion, and the other one was pretty stubborn, but eventually did come off the car. On top of that, we found a significant amount of metal filings in the transmission case, which would indicate gear failure of the transmission. Now, I wasn't having a ton of problems with driving the car, but again, understand my experience with a gated manual 360. I've never driven one that was apparently correct, because mine was not correct, and that's the only one I've driven. And so Yeah, the transmission was completely failed. And Vince was very forthright about it and gave me some options. And my options consisted of either A, having the transmission rebuilt by a fairly reputable rebuilder out in California, or B, seeing if we could go find a new one from Ferrari directly. And there was a very, very slim chance we would find a new one. Now, Vince works some magic. I don't know what he did, but he was able to locate a 360 transmission from Ferrari, brand new, and I decided to go ahead and put that in. So when we get the car back, it will have a brand new manual transmission in it. And on top of that, after doing a thorough inspection of the engine, we believe the rotating assembly, the bottom end of the car, is fine and in good shape, but the head was not, and as such needs a full head rebuild. In the process of rebuilding, the machine shop discovered 5 valves were failed on the car as well, and needed to be, it's going to need a full valve job also. So car is getting basically a completely reworked and rebuilt head and a brand new transmission in it. And Vince has been fantastic in his communication on it, and we'll be getting the car back here in a couple of weeks. Now, I'm putting this out there not as a way of complaining, but as more of an informational, because a lot of information I saw about heat exchanger failures on 360s didn't lead down this road of like needing full head rebuilds, full transmission rebuilds. And it is possible that if you catch it before it's bad, or you're not driving the car when things start to happen, you can save these components, because you can prevent the car from overheating, and you can prevent the car from driving in gear when it does happen. So if you're a 360 owner and you haven't changed your heat exchanger recently, or have no records of it, I highly recommend you get it done, because it will save you tens of thousands of dollars. But secondly, I think I want to be really clear in letting owners know, future owners know, that this is a thing on these cars. And it's going to get harder and harder to rebuild these cars because the parts are no longer made by Ferrari. And I think you really just need to be prepared for that sort of potential. I do think the cars are phenomenal cars. The market seems to indicate the same thing. They're going up in price. They are getting closer and closer to upper level Ferraris in terms of cost for new ones. And yeah, this is just part of owning a vintage car, or a car that's a classic like this Ferrari. You just don't know what the life of the car was like, even when you have a lot of documentation. And so you just have to be potentially prepared for this outcome. Now, with all that said, I think that these cars are phenomenal cars, and I think that they have lots of opportunity to be fantastic cars for a long time to come. And so I don't want to discourage somebody from considering a Ferrari 360 or a 360 Spider, because they are easily one of the most fun cars I've had the pleasure of driving. They sound incredible, and the driving experience is really, really awesome for a 25-year-old car. I'm still just enamored with this car. So, you get service paperwork, you have all these things, all this information. My cautionary tale to you is, if you have no information about heat exchangers, before you buy that car, I would highly encourage you to request a block test for the car, because the way we discovered my problem, I didn't have leaks. I passed PPI with no leaks or no known leaks on the car. The car had a clutch service just recently. Dealer believed that the clutch was the problem. Obviously it was not. Maybe it was, but it was not the underlying of the whole problem. And they had done a major belt on it as well. And ultimately, all of those things were good, but they didn't cover, or they didn't help hide what was actually going on inside the car. And so what would happen is, after a few hundred miles of driving the car, the combustion gas chamber would leak exhaust gases into the coolant system, overpressurize the coolant system, and it would blow the coolant hoses off the car. And I'd been chasing that problem since basically I got the car. And the first time it happened, I just thought maybe the shop didn't get a coolant line back on tight from the major belt service and the transmission service. And so we put it back on, we pressurized the system to its desired pressure for the thermostats, and that's 1.1 bar. And then we also vacuumed the system, and everything was holding great. So we're like, okay, well, that clearly is solved the problem. And so we'll refill it, we'll vacuum fill it with coolant, and we'll go back to driving the car and enjoying it. And about 300 miles later, we blew a coolant line again. This is because it eventually goes more pressure than the hoses and the clamps are rated for, and there's no stopping that, and that's just due to a leaking head gasket. So yeah, I want to thank Vince at Blackhorse Motorworks in Kansas City for doing an absolutely outstanding job with my car. He's been super thorough. He's been very clear about his communication, sometimes so clear that it makes you worried, and then, you know, you find out that the situation is far less worse than maybe originally anticipated. But he is very good at making sure that you understand there is other risks at play. And I'm very excited to get the car back and have it like new. But I just figured it was appropriate for me to tell all of you as my followers what's going on with the Ferrari, why it's where it's at, and ultimately when we might be getting it back. I got some B-roll video that I'll share in this as well that's got the car on the trailer going out. I unfortunately did not take video when I arrived. It was a hot day. I just wanted to get the car off the trailer and go from there. So yeah, thanks so much for being part of the Chrono Collective. I appreciate you, and we will see you all in the near future in another video. Thanks so much.